Welcome everyone, and we're back for another session of Build with Ben. And today, you might have noticed the background is a little bit different. I took a little bit of a break to get a new streaming environment set up, and as you can see, I got some nice shelves behind me now, and they're woefully empty a little bit. But hopefully over time, as I get some of my other decorations and geek nerdum souvenirs, whatnot, back from my other place, then hopefully that will allow me to fill this back up, and you should see some new stuff, and yeah, it should be fun. I'm excited to fill this shelf up. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and kick it off for today. Today there's a problem that I've been wanting to solve, and it's around the idea of theme development. And so when we talk about theme development, what exactly that is, basically, when you have things like Obsidian or other sites where there's this standard structure that goes along with it as far as what the content looks like, but you might want to customize how it looks like. And while you might be thinking, well, I know CSS, that's a piece of cake, I know how to do that. Not everyone knows how to do that. And more importantly, some people might only know just enough CSS to make some changes, but they may not know all the tooling involved in order to really call it a maintainable CSS framework that outputs exactly what they want. And so in my working with Obsidian and doing theme development, I realized that my workflow is clunky. And so what I want to do is actually basically enhance the workflow so that it utilizes Vite underneath, which is a new sort of build tool that I can talk a little bit about when we dive right into it. But what it will allow us to do is basically set up an environment that allows anyone who's, you know what, I know just enough CSS to be dangerous, but I don't know all the tooling. So what if I just download someone's repo, right? And as long as I follow the instructions to like npm install and run, I get a nice working environment where I can tweak CSS, I can see the changes, and then when I want to output the correct CSS, I can do so all while still utilizing like best software development techniques, basically without creating all the hassle of learning how to build tools and all that fun stuff. I'd like to make it a lot easier for people to do that. So let's go ahead and jump right in, shall we? Okay, so first thing first, let's talk about where I'm at right now. Let's talk about this context set. So let me say where I'm at right now. Okay, so if I go ahead and open up VS Code. So actually, let me give you a quick demo actually. So this right here you see on the screen is Obsidian. The TLDR on Obsidian is that it's a markdown editor that does way more in terms of notes and that kind of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly bring this up right here. So you can see Obsidian MD. If you heard about second brain note taking, Obsidian is usually mentioned along with Rome and some other ones. This is not the session for Obsidian. This is what I'm talking about. And as we can see here, there's a theme to this. So if we go inside of the preference here and we look at appearance, there's a bunch of themes that you can choose to it basically. And so when we're managing themes, you can see I can switch to like minimal theme, for example. Although actually instead of minimal, let me switch to my buddy's Vile Plume theme here. Although, whoa, what happened to the, okay, there you go. You can see here, I didn't change anything at the content wise. Everything still functions the same way, but it looks different. And so this is my buddy's Vile Plume theme. So I happen to create the Night Owl theme that's inspired from Sarah Drasner's Night Owl theme on VS Code. And so I love working on this. It was a lot of fun building it, but maintaining it hasn't been the easiest. And more importantly, I'd like other people to be able to easily fork, make tweaks, or simply branch off and make their own. And so today we're going to go ahead and take a look at the workflow for that right now and how we can better enhance that so other people can make use of that. Okay, so first thing first, let's go and take a look at that project, shall we? So I have Obsidian Night Owl theme. So actually, you know what I'm going to do before I do that though? Let me go ahead and make a note for myself. So let me go ahead and look inside of my GitHub, search repositories, and we're looking for Obsidian Night Owl. There we go. Search for that. Boom. Okay, so this thing is completely public and it looks like some people have already forked it. But in case you're watching the recording of this later, I'll make sure to include this here inside of the resources in the show notes for the video. All right, so how exactly am I working with this right now? As you can see here, I'm working with Sass, which is a preprocessor for CSS. And the reason it's useful is because it basically makes it easy to break things up into manageable chunks. Because if you look at what the CSS file looks like when it's actually compiled, you'll see there is quite a bit going on here. And this is probably not even all of it, right? This is just some CSS, and this would be tricky to manage as it is. It's nicer if you have already some organization to it, and especially when you minify things, it can be hard to manage. So this is why build tools can be super helpful. Now, the way I'm currently managing this is you'll see that I have this index.js file, and basically what it's doing here is that I am basically looking inside of here. Oh, this is a script that I have. And it's running the fact that whenever I output a CSS file, this is what's being copied into said destination. So you can see here that in my env environment, I have the ability to copy my dev theme into Obsidian so I can test it. So let's go ahead and make a change and show you how that works. So let me go ahead and bump this over 1/3 real quick. There we go, that looks better, and bump this over here. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is let's go ahead and inside of Obsidian.css, let's do something really obnoxious. I'm gonna come in here and let's see, can we do this? Let's see, I'm gonna do the everything selector. And then we're gonna say everything is gonna be border 1px solid red, and we're gonna bang important. Okay. So what this should do is that when I run my script here for npm run build, this will basically build the nodes, like all the Sass files, and compile them into a CSS. So you can see here we wrote CSS file into this obsidian.css, which is all right here. So we look for that change right now. We should see it down here, which is, yep, it's right here on the bottom. Now, the thing is, in order for me to test to make sure that works, I need to go ahead and then run npm, what did I call it? I think I said npm run move. Yeah, I did. npm run move. And you see it'll copy my file into the directory. And you might be thinking like, oh, nothing's changed. That's because I have to come in here inside of appearance, manage, and then I see this night owl dev that I can go ahead and use. And then boom, you can see that my changes are there. So what I could do in this case is I can go ahead and let me npm run dev. This will create a working Node.js environment that's watching my files. So inside of here, if I switch this over to blue, you can save. See that it automatically outputs the file, but it doesn't necessarily copy it over. And certainly we could probably automate that piece as well. But again, these are all, call it developer experience improvements we could use in order to make our lives easier as theme developers. So we see as we move, what's nice is that Obsidian itself is automatically updating things, which is nice, but I'll be honest, the fact that you have to set up an environment variable on this in order just to see how things are working, to me is clunky, especially because there's just, yeah, you just might want a smoother development experience. It's basically how I think of it. So let's go ahead and define the problem and how we want to architect the solution. So if we actually, let me go ahead and switch now. I don't want this to be, all right. So a couple of things we want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and create a note, and this will be for call it the Obsidian theme Vite dev environment. I'm just going to make this a project right now inside of Obsidian. So this is how I like to track my notes and just to get a sense of what's going on. So here we go. Here's a project that I'm going to start working on, and let me do a domain. This is the domain of coding. And then, yep, this is good. Okay. So basically, what we want to do is how do we define a good dev environment, right? So we talked about a few things. We talked automatically see changes in a live preview environment. So whenever you make changes in your Sass files, you want to automatically see that in a sort of hot module reloading environment. So that's good. Easy to output file to destination. So right now it's tricky to configure this because for someone who might not know the terminal as well, it might be tricky to do. So it might be nice if we made it easier for people to automatically point to a specific directory and then configure that to build the file. That would be nice, but that's more of a nice to have. The other thing, once we have that, we want the ability to be able to easily make changes to the content to add test cases. And then finally, what I want to do is we have Markdown, we have that. Okay, the other thing we want to make sure we do then is make sure that the environment is context agnostic. So in the case of what I showed you earlier with Obsidian, the problem is that we need to have Obsidian running, and then you need to switch to a specific theme to check that everything is working. To me, theme development in general you shouldn't really need any of that, to be honest. And it'd be nice if everything was just done within the browser. And that way, when people are building themes for other things, they don't have to open up Obsidian or whatever it is they're writing for specifically. So let's go ahead and work on this next. I realized some challenges with the context agnostic though, because some of the things, I guess what's kind of interesting, it might not be context agnostic. Okay, let me talk through what I'm thinking. The reason why the context agnostic might be tricky, so let me make a note here. Might be tricky because a lot of themes or software environments have specific hooks to tell you what specific thing they're looking at. So in that regard, you can't always make HTML agnostic choices when you're making selectors. Because I imagine, for example, Rome, which is another note-taking app where you might develop a theme, for example, they have different hooks you're gonna latch into. So you might need to actually set specific context. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Part of the reason I wanted to do this was just play around with Vite and also just to make my own development workflow with the Night Owl easier. So we'll see how everything goes. Okay, Night Owl, because software tends to have specific hooks. All right. With that, let's go ahead and start upgrading some stuff. Let's take a look. First thing first, we'll notice we're running some very basic node terminal commands, and I'd like to honestly enhance that a bit. So let's go ahead and take a look at Vite, shall we? So Vite here is a build tool where you might have seen it. It's been making quite a big splash within the JavaScript community. And so basically it has super fast performance, and the overall developer experience has proven to be very popular. So we're going to go ahead and build on top of this to use next generation tooling while also just learning a few things. So let's go ahead and take a look, and let's take a look at the docs, shall we? Getting started. Yep. We want to go ahead and build our first project. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this is let's go ahead and, yeah, that's fine. We can create a Vite folder in here and then move everything later. So let's go ahead and let's see, create Vite, npm create Vite latest. Yeah, let's go and do that. Okay, so inside of here, clear npm create Vite latest. Okay, yep, let's go and get that set up. So what this is going to be, we'll call this theme dev for now. And what we want to do here is, do we need a framework right now? Depending on how I want to configure things to make things easier, yes, I will need something, and we'll play around with it. So we'll use Vue, and we're not going to worry about the TypeScript aspect, so that's good enough. And so if we go to theme dev now, okay, so if we run dev here, npm run dev, wait, what is it called in here? Oh, I have to install everything. Okay, install dependencies, this will be separate. Okay, okay, great. All right, npm run dev. Wow, what an interesting path. Okay, whatever. That works. Okay, so we have our web environment, which is good. Now, the thing here, though, is that I want to use Vue in order to make the overall developer experience easier for when people are building their theme. However, what we don't want to do is make it sort of a requirement for people to use it. And so what I'd like to be able to do is have like a source folder that contains the markdown file we want to use to modify in order to look at our themes. So for example, let's go ahead and actually so I have this Obsidian, I think it's a theme demo file right here. Yep, and so it contains a lot of different markdown scenarios for you to basically test down how your CSS looks. So what I'm gonna do here is we're gonna go ahead and, let's see, inside a source, for now, let's create a folder called data, and then I'll call it theme demo file, and then paste all the markdown in here. Okay, so this will be a little bit tricky to do, I realize, because Obsidian does do some interesting things with it, but we'll take it one step at a time. We're here to learn. Okay, now that we have this, the question is, how do we go ahead and make sure that we can ingest said markdown file? So I'm trying to think here. Let's see, Vite markdown is what I would Google. Here we go, Vite plugin markdown. So this allows us to import a various markdown file into Vue components. Okay, this looks promising. This looks very promising. All right. So first thing first, let's go ahead and let me go ahead and create a new terminal window. And let's create a check out the Vite branch real quick, just to make sure we don't break anything on main. And then let's go ahead and add everything real quick. And we'll say this is a config scaffold Vite Vue 3 environment, which is great. Now let's go ahead and work on this. Let's see. So we have config here, setup, install, configure. Then you can add front matter, attributes. Great. Markdown options, mode, TOC, import as Vue component. Okay. from context. Oh, interesting. Custom component can be runnable in Vue. Oh, this looks very okay. So let's play around with this, shall we? First thing first, we will follow the instructions. Vite plugin markdown. Whoops, that's not it at all. I added an extra J. Okay, so now that we have this is good. Now we need to actually look at this is the config. So I imagine here, oh, this is for Vite 1. Okay. Imagine I need a Vite config.js, which already exists. Perfect. As we can see here, we have Vite plugin view, const md require. Oh, this is interesting that this syntax is like this, but this looks old. So I'm going to go ahead and update it using this new syntax. Import md plugin from Vite plugin. Are you gonna autocomplete for me? Nope. Okay, that's fine. As long as you can find it. Plugin view, plugins, md plugin, and we don't have any options right now. So just like that. Okay, so now it's saying that I should be able to just log set attributes from this. This is pretty interesting because you can do content. Okay. Okay. We have this running. Let's go ahead and verify that our, okay, MD plugin is not a function. Oof. Okay, that's not good. Ooh, did not like that. Okay, so it did not like the configuration here. Oh, I wonder why. All right, let's bump this over like this. The configuration here, I think it's an older JS syntax because it has the require. And so I wonder why it's saying router links cannot be used. Ooh, there are people who are having issues. Let's see. Failed to resolve content. Yep. Yep. Oh, this is what I did. Mode view app test MD. Okay, so this person is doing something very similar. So not promising that we're seeing that someone's running into the very issue we're going to run into. But what's interesting is that they're running into it sooner. So maybe it's because my options aren't configured, for example. So we can see here, options, mode. Okay, that's fine. Let's go ahead and verify that first. So let me go ahead and hide this. Oh, don't save. There we go. Okay, vconfig.js, view plugin, and then we'll say mode is view, just like that. Okay, great. Now let's try this again. Ooh. All right, let's try npm run dev. Breaks. Let's see, I'm on node 16, trying to think of things that might be causing this. npm run dev load config. MD plugin is not a function. Yeah, it does not like that at all. Import view component from the docs MD. It's used by a fair number of people. So someone else did not have this problem. But is it because it doesn't like the import syntax? No, but then the module exports. This is Vite 1. Can it be possible that we're on a later version of Vite that it can't support? That doesn't make sense to me at all. Vite plugin markdown, node sass, package. Oh, wait a second. Silly me. I know what I did. Ha! Nope, I don't. I thought I did for a second. Oh, wait, I am right. npm install Vite plugin markdown. I have two different package.json files. So that is, resolve. Cannot resolve dependency tree. Why doesn't it like this? That's fascinating. Why wouldn't it like this? Is it because it's automatically going to the root? That's so weird though. You would think that you would be able to have, what if okay, we're just gonna test something out real quick. Come in here, and then I can go ahead and wipe that out, Yup. Okay. All right, that's good. does not like that. Oh, silly me. npm install. Yep, doesn't like it. Okay, so something is horribly wrong. Unable to resolve dependency theme. While resolving 3.0, 3.0 is found in the root project, could not resolve dependency 2. Oh. That's sad. That means that right now it's not compatible with Vite 3, it looks like. Could not resolve. Okay, what if I forced it to 2? Let's do that. rmrf node modules npm install. Okay, this looks better. Oof. That flash of red always sucks. Do plugin view dist. Oh, the view plugin is broken. Okay. Wow. Oh wait, maybe I'll do it like this. Maybe I think they bumped the versions for both. That would be my immediate guess, but we could be totally wrong. Yeah, did not like it. Oof, that's rough. Hello, Dirk Castle LP. How's it going? Thank you for stopping by. Okay, this is frustrating. So it looks like there is an issue with this being compatible with Vite 3. So all right, we're back to the drawing block, it looks like, a little bit. Why is there a yarn file in here? All right. Okay, so now if we take a look at the package.json in theme dev, we should be back to 3.0. Everything should still work. It does. Okay, great. Yep, that's good. But apparently it really doesn't like this markdown ingester, which is sad because this is the first thing that comes in. Okay. Oh, Anthony has his own view markdown. Vite plugin MD, pipeline builder engine, declare module shim, view include, markdown, import it as a normal view component. Use view components inside of markdown. Okay, why not? We went down this rabbit hole already, so we might as well see where this goes. Vite plugin MDD. Nope. Yep, it's that 3.0 dependency. They recently upgraded. Lalio. Yes, of course Anthony has his own DX improvement on the Vite plugin components. Wow, gosh. Yeah, Vite 3 markdown ingestion. Yeah. Okay. We're going to adapt. So right now, clearly there's some plugin issues with the markdown for whatever reason. Yeah, Vite plugin does not support Vite 3 either. Yep, that's what's frustrating. Okay, no problem. What we need to focus on next, at least for now, the MVP, which I think I got a little distracted here, is that we need to be able to see basically the CSS working. So let's go and hack together. Let's go ahead and actually figure out, let me resolve this first part. So the milestone I'm trying to accomplish here is to be able to see the HTML that's being shown. So we're gonna cheat on this one. So for the demo file here, I'm gonna go ahead and copy this entire HTML page is what I'm gonna do basically. Div scroller, div. I just want this one. Oh wait, close. Okay. So I need, it does look like, yeah, I would need to like simulate. There's a lot to this that I was being a little naive with thinking I could remove the context entirely, but one thing at a time. Okay, so I think app container is a good place to start. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy the element. This is gonna be gigantic, but it's okay, we're gonna figure this out. Okay, so what we can do now is go into app.view, and oh, this is gonna be painful. I know this is. Let's go ahead and let's go into hello world then. And we don't need any of this. We are gonna need everything inside of template though. Okay, and paste. Oh, save. Oh man. Site cannot be reached. That makes sense because right now it's broken. This is good. All right, Obsidian theme file. Yeah. Lots of things are broken. Okay, at least it's showing up. This is good. So let's call this, let's rename this to demo file. Yeah, I know nothing's working. So demo file from like this. Then we can do demo file here. We don't need any props and we're just gonna go ahead and delete this, save. Okay, here is our demo file. And I realized though, I do want to delete any styles that might be referenced here. Okay, everything looking, yeah, there's a ton of stuff here that's not being tested out, but that's okay. Okay, now that we have this, the next thing we gotta do is just see if this works. So style.css here. So we can go ahead and we can test this out by opening up our Obsidian CSS file and let's layer that on top. And okay, so we're seeing clearly some changes being made. It looks decent, but it's missing a lot of the base styles. It doesn't even look that close to what it is, which is interesting because, well, I guess that actually makes sense. So the reason why is because inside of here, there is an app.css file, and actually that's what I'm gonna do. Let me go ahead and let's create a new file here for app.css. App.css will contain everything in here. What I need to do though is find out where style.css is being imported. Okay, it's being imported here. Meaning we can import app.css like this. And that should give us a much better, yeah, this gives us a much better baseline, which is nice. Okay, so that's good. Although what's interesting though is I can't see anything anymore. Everything is gone. iframe, document, hidden. Where's all my stuff? iframe, document, grammarly, nope, that's not what I want. App container, yup. Status bar, that's fine. Oh, did I only copy the status bar? Maybe that's what I did. All right, we'll find out. See, nope, this is the app container. This should contain everything. So if I look at the demo file, we should see, yeah, app container is in here. So where is app container in this thing? We're gonna find out. Yep, there it is. Okay, great, but why is it cut off like that? Weird. Commenting out app.css. All right, let's just keep going for now. The other thing we need to do inside of our main CSS, yeah, Durkatzel. So what I'm trying to do is set up like a really easy to work with theme environment so that people can easily work in said environment. Now I had some different requirements at the beginning regarding how I thought this would look. I am quickly learning that probably won't be that simple, but we can figure stuff out as we go. Okay, so the other thing I want to make sure we do is the style.css is, what's interesting to me is that style.css is styling some stuff. So let me actually get rid of this. But what happened to all my variables? Like, why does it look so different? That's what I can't seem to understand. Is like all my backgrounds are like gone. Oh, I wonder, nope. Because let's take a look at this. If we look at this, here we go, CSS font family. Yup. Give me my background color. Where did it go? Background color? Yes. Okay, there's a bunch of theme dark here, which is nice. Div title bar. Body. Oh. Body class. Okay, yep. So let's go ahead and copy the element. Oh boy, oh boy. That's why the demo file looks funny. All right. Oh, so much JavaScript. That is not gonna be pretty. There's a lot of stuff in there. A saving file. Oh, this is gonna be monstrous. Oh, this was a bad idea. Abandoning ship. What we can do is, let's go back to the app container. But we did learn there is this theme class here. So maybe if I can just trick it into thinking it has it, that'll be enough to play around with it. Because right now we're testing stuff out. We don't know how it's gonna work, but we're just trying stuff out. Bum, ba, bum, drop all the way down. Great. Save. Okay, this looks better. But the dark theme is just really not liking it. Okay, so we're ingesting stuff. Things are looking funny. But when building solutions, I'm all about trying to figure out the next best step. Okay, clearly to me, the hot module reloading for this part is tricky because what I'm essentially trying to do, which was probably my mistake to begin with, was trying to replicate the Obsidian environment inside of an entirely separate container. And that may have just been wishful thinking, to be totally honest. What we can do instead, though, at the bare minimum, is try to use Vite to at least manage the build outputs so that it's easy for people when they're working with it. So for now, to scope it down to make sure we just don't get caught up in scope creep, we're going to make sure that we can use Vite to output the CSS file we need to Obsidian directly as we develop it so we can get that live preview sort of workflow. So how are we going to do that? Looks like we're not going to need any of this web server stuff really. Anyways, let's one thing at a time. Here we go. All right, so 1/3, 1/3, great. All right. So a couple of things is that we need to, one, have a Vite build. We need some sort of Vite plugin for Sass. And I really hope we don't run into configuration issues. If we do, I really will need to drop to 2. But let's do things one at a time, shall we? First thing first, we'll have a styles. And actually, I don't even need to pretend. I literally have a whole Sass folder in here that's full of stuff. So this stuff can come into source like this. And what I need to do is have Vite watch this folder. Okay, so let's document what we're trying to do here. So if we go into our theme Vite project, we're trying to, let's see, I'll call this a wish list right now because this was made with wishful thinking. The first thing we're going to do here is Vite needs to watch Sass folder and output a build file. Okay, let's learn how to do that together. First thing first is we go to Vite, and then what we're going to do here is let's search for how we might handle Sass. All right, so we have some stuff here. We can install Sass. Does provide built-in support for stylus files. There's no need to install Vite-specific plugins, but the corresponding preprocessor must be installed. If you're using Vite, that's fine. If you're using import, that's fine. Import alias. Static assets. Okay, this is what's tricky though. I want to actually output the styles. So how do we do that? Vite Sass output CSS file. How to, okay, here we go. So someone had the same question. All right, this was answered. That's promising to me. I'm using this. It outputs for production, but I wish to create in development so I can see my uncompressed. What's the best way to do this? Actually, I'd like to do this too. So build minify. Okay. I wonder if in your dev environment you can actually watch build. Let's see. Vite watch Sass file build output. In watch mode changes CSS. Okay. Let's see. Create an app CSS file, import car watch mode. Before you change anything, CSS is built. Okay. That's cool. Vite in watch mode. Okay, maybe that's what we're actually looking at right now. Is we have a watch mode that we need to have. So how do I find the watch mode? Server.watch mode. Okay, yep. Command, async config, environment variables. No, that's not what I want. Watch, build watch. This does not seem to have the information that I'm looking for. Okay. Vite build watch. Ah, okay. So Vite build watch, which means it'll automatically build it. Debugging. Okay, this is the RFC, it looks like, chatting about it. For a hot reload. You can achieve that with a plugin. Vite plugins are beyond the scope of this particular session, so we're not going to do that. Okay, so build Vite is the closest thing I think I'm finding here. So what I would like to, I don't know, this is tricky though, because let's take a look at this. If I do npm run build, this will run Vite build will everything dist assets, but that's not what I want. What we want to do is actually build the HTML file. So you know what I'm going to do? We're going to go ahead and delete theme dev. Let me make sure I get out of stuff so that it doesn't crash on me. I just want a generic npm create Vite late theme dev. And this time we're just going to do vanilla because we really don't care. We want the bare minimum on this. And okay, yep. CSS cd theme dev npm run npm I. Okay, npm run build. The dist here, same thing. Okay, but what we want is to separate out the CSS file. That's the first thing we need to actually see. Because right now we'll notice that this has been compiled. Yep. Okay, so let's go ahead and play with this. So Oh, it looks like it didn't create one automatically. I guess that makes sense. Vconfig.js. Okay, module.exports. Why do I feel like this is not going to work? But it's fine. Minify false. Let's just copy that, roll up options, output asset file names, name.ext, save. I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, I didn't think so. Yep. And the reason for this is because most likely we are relying on Vite 2. And so this is a tricky part because if you're using the latest, a lot of this stuff won't work. But we're just gonna, let's go back to Vite 2 for now because this is proving to be a little tricky. rm rf node. Okay, npm I, npm run dev, npm run build. Nope. Yep, that's fine. Let's see, type module package.json. So it doesn't like this dev. Okay, now we're cooking. Okay, so this did create like a vanilla. Great. npm run build. Okay, this is good. That wasn't good. Okay, so the configuration worked when I reverted it, but the problem was that I broke. Oh, silly me. I did not square bracket it. Okay, so that's that. So now if I want npm run build. Okay, now this is good. We have this. Now, what if we configure this to be Sass now? So npm, let's see. Okay, so this was super helpful. So let me just drop this down into the resources so that build with Ben, no, 38. There we go. So people who are looking into this thread might be curious. Watch mode, yep, we'll deal with watch mode in a second. Vite Sass, we'll deal with that in a little bit as well. I don't want Webpack, I just want Vite. And then more importantly, I want Sass. There we go. Okay, so the only thing is we need to install the Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Do npm install npm add. They added an add command alias. I guess so. Makes sense. Okay, boom. Sass has been added now. This is good. So, in theory... Oh, I deleted my Sass folder. Whoops. Let's see. Oh, wait, no, don't. Not committed. Yep. Okay, so git add theme. Oh, sorry. cd git add theme dev. All that has been added. Sass has been left alone. Great. Git commit config. Switch to vanilla project. Yep. And then check that out because we don't want to delete any of that. We want it all. There you go. Now it's back. So now we drop this in here. We have our Sass file. We have our obsidian.css. Then SCSS. Will it recognize it without any configuration? I have a hard time believing that. Ooh. It looked... Oh, wait. Silly me. Okay. npm run build. Yep, that did not do anything. Git commit chore move Sass folder into the environment. Okay. We've added it. It's clearly seeing it, but it's not being built. And what is the reason for that? I think the reason for that is because, let's see, source module main.css, which is fine. Main grabs here, query selector, okay. But where are my styles being imported? So where is style.css being brought in? Is it because it's in here? Nope, that's not it either. It's being imported in main.js. Oh, top here. Okay, so then what that's telling me is that I should import Sass/obsidian.scss. Will that work? We will find out. npm run build. Whoa, something's funky. Whatever. npm run build. Okay, so still not good. Still only seeing one thing though. Inside of this, we're only seeing this. We don't actually see the Sass file being brought in. Oh, wait. No, this is it. This is the file. Okay. It did build it. However, what happened to all this stuff? So it automatically compiled everything together? That's interesting. So it just came in, dropped everything in, and put it into one file, which makes sense. And then it dropped the other thing. Okay, so now if I delete style like this, and then inside of main.js, we get rid of it here. It looks like this works. Okay, that looks right. So now if we run npm run build watch. Wait, oh wait, I'm wrong. I was about to be like, what did I do? No, I think it's me this time. Build, okay. Build watch. What if it's like this instead? npm run dev. Watching for changes. Okay, cool. Let's see, full screen, split, how do I split? Then I need to open this file up. And then if it's really watching everything as we expect, we should see here at the bottom, obsidian.scss, which is great. Save like that. Automatically compiled. Great. This is really good. So we're actually getting pretty darn close. Okay, so let's see. I don't know why this stuff is so unhappy, but we're gonna just leave that alone, leave that alone, leave that alone, leave that alone. Yes. All right, it's fine. Okay, git commit feature Create circumstances or environment for Vite building SaaS output. Okay, this is great. This is actually a pretty big milestone, because now what we need to actually do though is figure out how we can configure Vite to do a lot less. So let me strip this down some more. So we don't have that. We don't need this. To be honest, we really don't need most of this stuff, because for now we're not even going to worry about HTML and all that stuff. So I'm actually just going to make main.js this. And then we can honestly, let's keep this project simple, because we want to do is minimize confusion for people. So I'm just going to wipe all this out, because we don't need any of that. And then counter.js, don't even need that. That's irrelevant. Package.json, Vite. Okay, great. So now if I run npm run build, oh, it needs an entry module? Oh, I think I went too far. Let's find out. What is this thing? Vite entry module. Okay. Entry. Config. Okay, so based on my gut instinct, one of the reasons it needs an entry point is because it needs somewhere to see where all the dependencies are to do all the relationships. But what if I only wanted to handle... I know I can leave the HTML file in there, but I want to spend just 5-10 minutes figuring out how to change the entry point. So it looks like this configuration is very lacking. Shared, oh, okay, more options. Is there an entry API? Entry? Type configuring, okay, here. Okay, it looks like the searching is a little bit, oh, I think that's what that is, okay. Okay, let's start looking around. Is there an entry point? List of fields when trying to resolve package entry points. Okay, so maybe let's just check this out real quick. Is there an entry point in here that's defined as index.html? Nope, not in here. So we know it's not that. Then so that's not it. CSS modules, post CSS preprocessor options, additional data, keys as options. Nope, nope, nope. Assets include server host, server port, local host. Good to know. Okay. Oh, here's some stuff that I know I'm going to need. Build target, build assets directory, build CSS code split, build CSS target. Okay. Output directory by default is this. But what this means is people could configure the output. Assets directory, yup. So there's nothing stopping someone from configuring it, although it looks like I really cannot escape the env environment for now, because otherwise I can't guarantee what people are going to use. Build watch, empty out directory, report compression size. Yeah, but where's entry? Why is entry not? Build library. Oh, library. Maybe that's what it is. Entry string. Build as a library. Entry is required because since the library cannot use HTML entry. Name is exposed as a global variable and required when formats include UMD, IFI, ES, AMD. Only build CSS files. Okay. Ooh, a blog post. Exciting. Okay, CSS library. Yup. Project name. Yup. Index.html. Delete context domain TS. Style.cs. Sure. Run dev, run build, run dist. Configure the build. Config Vite. Ah, this is the secret. This is the secret sauce, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so inside of the Vite config. So what we're learning here, Oh, actually, Iku here is actually beating me to the punch. It looks like what we need here is the lib mode, which stands for library, for those who don't know. And it looks like, yeah, it's in the build section. And so for me, for example, my entry point is going to be Sass Obsidian, SCSS, and then we're just going to call it Obsidian. Say Night Owl, like that. Okay, let's see if this works. npm run build. This did not like that. Path is not defined. Okay, that makes sense because we need to actually import path from path, so that's my mistake. So let's drop that in real quick. Run build again. Oh, beautiful. The only problem is that we now have this, we have these JS files being imported, which we don't want. So let's keep going further down the path. It looks like, yep, so same things, but we have logo, great, perfect. How to handle assets, logo, yeah, but I don't, yeah, Sass, yep. It looks like we cannot escape the JavaScript files. I'd like to eliminate the production of MJS and UMD entirely. Let's see, and once again, Vite only build CSS, no UMD or JS files. Building for production. Can styles be injected in library mode? Okay, for now, nope. How do I delete this? Vite config, yep. And we could output it to a specific directory. So what we could do then, all right, keep working. Don't get tripped up. I want to build an output directory here relative to project root, but we need to do Vite environment variables. Let's see, .env automatically, yep. Loaded are imported. These are automatically exposed to import meta env. Okay. Here's what I'm going to try to do now. So what I want to do though is output it to a specific directory when it's building. So this would be the closest to the example that I want. So we have an out directory, and then we would go import.meta.env, I believe, meta.env, yep. And it would be destination. Okay, so like this. Okay, there is no env environment right now, so that'll break. So that goes in here. Okay, let's see if this works. Fingers crossed. Git npm run build. Oh, did not like it. Okay, this file is considered ECMAScript because of the import meta here. Ay caramba. Okay, so the import does not like that. M prefix, IntelliSense for TypeScript. Restart after making changes. How to use env variables in Vite config. Vite name Vite, yep. Import load env from Vite. Process env. Wait, that looks obscenely complicated. Process env equals everything from process m and load env mode. Is that really the answer? There's gotta be an easier way, right? No. That's not it. Yep, this is one of the challenges with the new ES modules and everything. They're great for a lot of things, but then you run into these sort of configuration things where it's, why? Because here you can see it's got this module that exports. And it just does not like that piece. Did I misspell anything? Import, nope, meta env. That's what it is. Build module exports. Let's see. Oh, this is still outputting as CS style.css. That bothers me. Why can't I do this? Okay, you know what? I'm also, once again, it's so easy to get caught up in stuff. Whoops. All right, dropping that. Output here. All right, let's go. We're on build. Okay, we see some problems. So it looks like it already created that. Okay. So we don't need to necessarily do it like this. But oh. That's annoying. I only want to output the CSS file, but it wants to output an entire directory. Can I do that? Can I do that? Vite output file instead of directory. Nope. Because one of the things we certainly could do is build another script to watch that folder, and when that folder changes, like move said like copies said like file into the environment. That is an option. Okay. So for the sake of getting to, I always have to remind myself, it's important not to get caught up in this piece. Okay. So when it's that, copy it. Yup. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're gonna, okay, we're going to call this a migrate file.js. Put this inside of theme.dev. If we run migrate should then grab the thing and move it over. But it's going to copy it from, okay, next I need to rename the file. Jumping around, but bear with me. Vite name CSS file. Do rollout output asset name. Interesting. I don't love that. The reason for that is, all right, so we're not even gonna worry about the output directory. We're leaving it as a standard dist. It's interesting because like basically you're saying the option, like inside of the rollup options, that's what allows you to change it. There's gotta be an easier name, easier way to do this. At least it feels like it. I think the finite is in the same guide page for the build library mode. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and bump that out. Build options, rename to library mode. Okay. Library mode, lib, rollup, external, output, globals, running Vite build, preset, that's oriented shipping libraries. Yep. Recommended, package.json, advanced base options, render built, HTML mode. Nope, that's not it. Entry resolve file. Oh, wait, file name. Lib name file name. That should work. Yes. Obsidian night owl. Maybe like this. Build. That did not do anything. Okay. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna try that one solution that I saw earlier, which apparently I was silly. Rollup options, output, asset file names. Okay, asset file names. Interesting. Okay, so you get the asset info. Interesting. If asset info.name equals style.css, return obsidian.css, else return this. Okay, let's see if that works. Hey, okay, that did work. I guess it's not terrible. This works. So basically rollup is the key here. Again, build tools is I find it to be such a mystery, especially if you work heavily on application specific logic. Like build tools is like a whole nother world of the way you think regarding environments and that kind of thing. And my hat's off to those working in it. It's one of the things I would love to get better at and learn more about. But as we all know in the world of tech, it's very tricky to keep up with everything. You do the best you can with what you have. And that's why I think it's always super important to keep things contextual. That's why, to be honest, like the problem we're trying to solve here is theme development and enhancing my workflow. And also but the motivation behind it is also to work with Vite. But as we know, if you just read documentation, it can feel very arbitrary a lot of times, especially because you're not sure how it's going to be applied to certain situations. And we saw that certain things very clearly only apply in certain situations or certain versions and that kind of stuff. And so it's why one of the reasons I'm all for just getting your hands in there and just trying things out. The field name should be in camel case, but maybe it's only for Vite 3. Yeah, this is what's tricky right now, is that the documentation does seem to walk the line between 2 and 3. And it's not terribly clear right now which one's which. However, for the sake of progress, we are moving forward. So this Obsidian CSS file needs to then be copied. So similarly, I will have a move command similar to this. It's fine. Part of me wishes this was simpler, but there might be ultimately a reason. All right, so we have that. We have a move command, and we're just going to node the migrate file.js command. So if we run npm build, right? Great. Although I realize this has these .m things that I need to install. So package.json, fssass, yep, these two need to go in here. Looks like we're almost ready for actually a proper no more nested folder situation. Okay, npm run move. Okay, great. That's good. This makes sense because right now migrate file is looking for a root Obsidian file, which doesn't exist. And instead it should look in here. So now if we run move, it looks like it was copied successfully. So now we can start testing this a little bit to see if what I'm thinking is working. So we have it here. Once again, we will go ahead and modify this CSS file as CSS file. And let's go ahead and just keep it simple once again. And this time we're just going to do a border 2px solid green, and we'll just make this important. And then we'll run the build. Build should automatically build out the CSS file. npm run move should copy it over. Granted, I'm not currently using the dev theme because that's what I want to basically test before I send it out to people. Okay, dev theme is working, great. So once again, we can go ahead and switch this yellow. And then this should, assuming we're running watch, this would automatically do that. And then we want to move. Okay. The thing is, though, we've basically replicated the system I had before, to be honest, which was I built it. I think it worked, and then I moved it. What we need to add to fully enhance the developer experience of this is basically the ability to now, as the output changes, it automatically copies it over. First thing first, let's go ahead and delete this. We will run the build. Whoops. And then we will move it over. Everything's good. Now let's go ahead and just do a little bit of cleanup real quick. So msample is good, ignore is good, changelog's fine. This is good. I'm gonna delete these though. These are gonna get overridden. Definitely don't have a yarn lock anymore, so that's gone. Then I can take everything from here, I believe. Is this get ignore different? Oh, that get ignore is better. So this one is going bye-bye. Boop. And then 1, 2, 3. I think that's it. So we can take this whole thing, move it out. Oh, yes. Let me just delete the node folder just to make sure everything's good. Okay, now we can take this, move everything out. Great. Now we don't have a theme dev folder, which is good. And then I definitely broke something here. Obsidian Night Owl. Clear. Okay. And then let's just make sure everything works again. Every build, everything looks good. Wunderbar. Okay. Git commit. Let's see. Refactor. layout files flat at root directory. That's what we did here. Wonderful. Okay, now we need to have the ability to watch a file and then do something. So for now, for the sake of the fact that we're starting to run a little low on time, we're gonna want to be able to, let's see, node watch file changes, then run script. So we need like a trigger upon any changes in a folder. Oh, okay, what's this? How to make a package script rerun whenever a file in a folder changes. Okay, yup. Okay, there's a watch package, this makes sense. You'll watch this. What is he gonna say? Add the watch script to package.json. You have the build. So add the script that watches the layout folder and run this upon every change. Oh, if this works, this will be great. Okay, so this will be awesome. Okay. So okay. Here we go. Whoops, wrong thing. All right, npm install watch. Is that how we do it? All right, great. Watch is good. Now we're gonna do this thing called watch, and we'll say, what does it say? You said that we can say watch npm, and then npm run dev, and when we watch that, then we will focus on a specific folder called dist. Wait. Oh, upon every change. Sorry. Run move. We want to run it every time it happens. Okay. That looks good. All right, here we go. npm run watch. Okay. Watching dist. Now we're gonna npm run dev. Okay, so that's watching, that's copying. That's good. Obsidian.css, here we go. Border 1px, solid, magenta, important, save. Oh, that did it. Although, did not like that. What happened? Copy. Can I try again? Save. So it does this thing where it like copies it. It's almost because it's writing multiple times, it's like dropping it over. But for all intents and purposes, it is working. So what if then I say node run 2 commands? How do you run 2 commands? Node run multiple scripts with 1 command. There is gotta be a library for this. I just can't remember what it's called. Ah, that's what it's called, concurrently. npm concurrent do. Great. Okay. Yup. Okay. So we're about to, I think we might have hit what I think is what we need to do. Concurrently is here. Then you command 1, command 2. Okay. So this is what we actually want. So we want to do, okay, so we actually don't want, dev is technically true. We want it to build. We're not going to worry about an actual build command, a preview command. We have a move command. We have a watch command to watch that. But then we need a start command. npm start. Let me just really quick. Yep, it's a pre-configured one. Okay, great. So we have a start command that will concurrently run dev, npm run watch. I think that does it. Oh snap. The error log is gross, but if this is working the way I think it is, I may have set it up. Okay, so then now that we have this means we can then say, come on. Brain broke. What am I doing? Oh yes, that's what we're doing. We can test this now. And we'll do like cyan here. Yeah, that's it. Everything runs on one command. So this is great. Let's see, how do I customize this theme? Installation. Okay, set up how to installation. Do installation FAQs. Add CSS snippets. Oh, I need to like document how this works. Okay, let me see. Installation. Let's do this real quick, because I want to actually make sure people actually can use this. So let's see. Code, local dev environment. This is for people who want to clone the repo and work with the file locally. So very quickly, we clone the repo, install dependencies. Then what do? We run npm start. That's, oh wait, create .m file with a file path to where your theme directory lives. I think that's it. At a high level, that's basically what people need. I could definitely go into more depth with this. Let's do this. Use env sample to see the format. That's good. Yeah, so the key thing is you have to actually name it. All right. npm start. All changes made to SCSS files will automatically be migrated into your Obsidian environment. Great. So we can stop that. I think that's everything. I think we did it. Feature. Oh wait, actually that's a feature. This is docs. Git feature. Add ability to run all run commands with just one. Do docs. Add mention for how to set up local environment. Okay, this is great. So the reason this is important, and one of the reasons I've gone through all this, is because I've been wanting to find a way to make my life easier to basically work and maintain the theme. So right now, if we go to the the repository for Night Owl, there we go. There we go. Okay. I have some issues I need to work through. So for example, this one here. Okay, for example, right here, we know that the theme is currently hiding this sidebar, and I want the ability to basically, oh, actually, I don't need feedback on this anymore. I just need to work on it. Okay, so a couple of things. Let's go and check out main, git merge Vite. Good. Git push origin main. Great. That's good. Okay. So how would I develop this theme? Not using what we just learned. Oh, that's not good. I'm going to end up giving everyone the blue bar because I was working on a testing thing. Run. Oh, build does not exist anymore. Let me add that script back because we're not always just Vite build. Oh, wait a second. Yep. That's not great because it needs to be at the root. I need to fix this real quick. Oops. Oh, actually, no, it won't. Luckily, it won't hurt anything, but this does mean when I run build, I need to migrate that file into the directory. So I have two different things I need to do. Okay. So quickly, so in terms of the solution, there's two different types of migrate files. This is to Obsidian.js. So that needs to then run here. And then build needs to actually move build file. Oh man. Okay, it's fine. We good. We're just gonna migrate to root. I'll call it for now. Root.js. So this is very similar to this script for now, except we don't need any of this. We just need to copy the dist folder from here. Granted, I could have probably done this with the terminal command, but for the sake of keeping things consistent, destination CSS build file copied successfully to root. And I guess I'll add, you know what? I'll add a tree to this one because it's like the branch, so it's like the root. And then that should do it. So right now I run migrate to root. That did not like that. Path must be, oh, silly me. Just put it in root. Run, did not like that. How about like this? Operation not permitted, unlink. Copy this. I don't understand. This is the root directory. Why does it not fsc copy to root? Path. Okay, what if it's just like this? Node migrate to root. Illegal operation. What is this illegal operation? This is so weird. Already exists as a directory. This is why you're getting an error. Is directory. Oh. Obsidian.css. npm run or node migrate to root. There you go. Great. Beautiful. So now that we have this, we're going to wrap this up. So we have move. Okay, now I have to be more specific. Move to Obsidian. Okay. C. npm run script sequentially. Okay, I think this is a double and. Yep, I was right. And npm node migrate file to root.js. And then that should then, if I run build, okay, that's fine. Cannot find folder migrate. Oh. Okay, let's keep this naming consistent. Migrate to root, migrate to Obsidian. Like that. npm run build. Okay. CSS copied to root successfully. So now if we take, whoops. Okay, if we take a look at what's changed, see that things did get modified. Okay, that's good. So the build was updated, so we can go ahead and say this is a fix or feature, create build path for Vite output. All right, and then the last thing we want to do to clean this up a little bit is, honestly, I'm going to rename this to styles. And this is actually just the theme. The entire theme is represented in these Sass files. And then we'll have a folder for scripts. Dami Killer here, you landed on ES build. I'd love to see what you're doing, to be honest, because I feel like I'm hacking together a solution that really could be a lot cleaner. Like the fact that I have to hack all these node scripts to watch and move stuff, like to me, it's like output a file to a directory. And in the time we've had today, I haven't been able to really figure out where that stuff lives for some reason. So honestly, again, I'm going to blame myself before I blame anyone else. So I would first to say that real quick, that it's going to be me and not them. Okay, so can I run build? Nope. Entry module. Oh, right. Now that I move everything into scripts, this needs to go back a directory. This needs to go back a directory and back a directory. I think, what's the harm? We're gonna find out. Cannot find, oh, silly me. I actually think the no, this is, actually, I don't know. There's two different things I did that is screwed up there, but it's fine. We'll figure one thing at a time. This is theme, like that. And then, yes. npm run build. Yep, now this is starting, wait, why is it still looking up as CSS? Oh, here we go. Theme, like that. Build, resolve, stat. No such file exists because when you're running this directory, there is no back, so it's not relative. It's running it at the root environment. There you go. npm start. There you go. Copied. No such file, directory. Oh, interesting. No, wait, now we're good? No such file. Okay, that makes sense because it doesn't exist. It's good, it's good, it's good. Destination. All right, actually, I'm gonna do an emoji for this one, I think. It's a truck. So again, npm run, oh, not dev, but npm start. That's good. Okay. There we go. Now I think we're in business. Obsidian.css. Test it again one more time. Border 1px solid cyan. Important, save. Copied over, migrated successfully. Great. So that's solid. Okay, great. That is, I think we've reorganized the project directory to be easier now so that bare minimum, there's a script. This is the theme that people can work through. Everything, the Obsidian.css. For those wondering, this is actually how Obsidian actually detects the marketplace for publishing. So that's why it has to be Obsidian.css. I don't want to name it something else. Okay, so this is great. So this is the refactor, reorganized layout of files, project directory. Great. Awesome. Oh, your theme is Prism. That's okay. That's awesome. Okay, I would definitely want to check out the source code for how you're managing that because it's been pain working on the theme. Like I got to a point where the infrastructure was starting to get in my way. So that's part of what we're working on today. So Iku here in the chat. Yeah, the question here is, couldn't I just have used a Sass compiler and done something very similar? Absolutely. So this is, you know what? Maybe actually that'll probably be a good point to wrap up on. But for those, if you want to go ahead and check out the changes or develop the theme yourself, be sure to check out the repo, which I'll go ahead and include in the show notes. But let's switch over to the camera because I think this will be a good one to wrap up on. All right. So today pretty hectic day as far as like figuring out how things work, traversing the V2 versus V3. And the question here from Iku here, which I think is a great one, is around this idea of, couldn't I have just done this with a standard Node.js compiler and then just chain them with regular Node.js stuff? And the answer is absolutely. There's nothing stopping me from doing that. Part of the reason, the thing I want to emphasize here is that as a software engineer or when you're building stuff, is there are lots of ways of doing things. And more importantly, when you're in like research mode and you're trying to learn something new, it's always helpful to have context around what exactly is like the problem you're trying to solve. So for me, developing an Obsidian theme, that's something that I've been trying to do. So it matters to me. And then on the other hand, I've been meaning to play around more with Vite and try to figure out how to get it to leverage like the ES modules and all that stuff. So as a result, it was one of those like, okay, I have this problem and I have this thing I want to research. I'm going to put these two together. The key thing to remember here though, is that there are so many ways to solve things. And in the given context of simplicity, might have made sense to just keep it at Node.js. But on the other hand, it's okay to just try building with different tools, especially when, like I said, in a perfect world, one of the reasons I was going with Vite is because I wanted to give people a web environment that they could look at their theme, switch from light to dark mode really easily, like in a toggle mode. Like basically envision like when you're on a site, you can you see your theme, you can toggle it, you can customize it, develop it. Like I was hoping for an easy way to do that, but because of the very specific context of Obsidian, I would probably need to build like an Obsidian wrapper essentially in a web browser and then have that sort of, I don't know, it seems like a lot of work when what we have here ultimately is probably good enough for most people. Yeah. Anyhow, appreciate everyone for hanging out today and watching. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. You can find me on the Internet of Things at BenCodeZen. Thanks to Dirk Katzel, Iku, and Dami Killer today for hanging out. It's been an absolute blast. With that, I think that's a wrap for today. Thanks everyone for hanging out, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.